husband and wife duo who co-founded a company called Humane, which recently launched a wearable AI device. Joining us right now is Imran Chaudhry. He's chairman and president of the company.
The Humane AI Pin, a wearable device that lets you ask AI questions with your voice, take pictures, and even project information onto your hand.
Murphy's Law states that anything that can go wrong will go wrong. That pretty much sums up the past few weeks since the release of the Humane Ai Pin. Developed by the company Humane AI, the pin is meant to be a phone without a screen. Instead of prompting you to access apps and type on a keyboard, these small wearables hide everything behind an AI assistant and an operating system called Cosmos. Want to make a phone call, send a text message, calculate the tip, write something down, or find out how many people live in Copenhagen? Simply ask the AI Pin. It employs a cellular connection, only through T-Mobile and, regrettably, not linked to your existing number, to remain online at all times, as well as a network of AI models to attempt to answer your inquiries and execute your commands. It's not just one app, but all of them. Humane has spent the last year arguing that the AI Pin is the start of a post-smartphone era, in which we spend less time with our heads and wits buried in our phone screens and more time in the real world. How that would operate, whether we want it, and whether it is even conceivable, are fundamental concerns about the future of our relationship with technology. That's why, in today's video, we look into whether the tech is supposed to replace all phones, or if it is just another hoax with exaggerated marketing. First, how does the AI Pin work? If you've ever seen Captain Picard tap his comm badge to communicate with his colleagues on Star Trek, congratulations. You probably already know how to utilize the AI Pin. You're supposed to wear the pin high on your chest so you can easily reach over and hit the touchpad, which activates the microphone and allows you to ask questions. When you want to view an incoming message or change the pin's settings, simply raise your hand up in front of it so the projector can project its interface onto your palm. To interact with items on your palm, tilt your hand around to highlight them and click on them with your fingers in the Vision Pro style. If this all seems really cool, it is. And Humane is correct in one respect. Interacting with a device like this feels surprisingly natural, to the point where I occasionally reach for the pin to ask a question even when I am not wearing it. However, using the pin might quickly become frustrating. Consider the tilt and pinch gestures. They're simple to learn but difficult to master. Even after a few weeks, I still struggle to choose the proper menu items. Another disadvantage is that the projector is virtually unreadable when exposed to direct sunlight. Summer is already approaching, and there will undoubtedly be plenty of heated days that I do not want my phone to interfere with. But the pin is far less effective in full daylight. Speaking of temperature, the pin quickly overheats when you make back-to-back requests or use the projector for an extended period of time. When that happens, don't be shocked if the pin loses contact for a while as it cools down. This has happened 4 or 5 times in 2 weeks, including once when charging from one of its magnetic booster batteries. That's not ideal, especially because you'll need to snap on another booster to use the pin for the entire day. Using the pin as a phone. Let's be clear, no one, including Humane, thinks the pin will replace your smartphone. However, it does behave similarly at times. To use the pin, you must pay $24 per month, which includes a line of T-Mobile service for making calls, sending messages, and accessing the internet while away from home. Phone calls sound quite decent with the pin's built-in speaker, but if you're around a lot of people, the sound gets muffled out easily. Connecting a pair of Bluetooth headphones, however, greatly helps. Texting is difficult, unless you explicitly tell the pin you're dictating the contents of a message, which is easy to overlook when you're just trying to contact someone. The pin has a strange tendency to truncate some texts and pretend swear words don't exist. Here's an example. One day I requested the pin to send a message to a buddy that read, "I'm tired of this. San Francisco weather and food." For the record, neither of these statements is even remotely true. Instead, the whole letter he received read, "Of this San Francisco weather and food." My acquaintance was a little perplexed, to say the least. Also, consider the services you rely on every day via your phone and select 3 of them. Most likely, the pin cannot connect to any of them. Right now, it can only extract contacts from Apple, Google, and Microsoft accounts and play music on Tidal. That means no Spotify, no Uber, or any apps. Humane says it is striving to expand the pin's toolset, but it will require time and the support of firms who believe in the pin's potential. Oh, and the camera? At best, it's hit and miss. In daylight, the results can be pleasing enough, but in low light, expect to see a lot of grain and indistinct faces. The concept of a less obtrusive camera is compelling, but if you want a visual record of your life that you may want to revisit, you're better off using your phone for images and video. Talking to the AI. At its best, the pin functions as a speed dial button for a question and answer hotline with an AI on the other end. Overall, it worked pretty well. When I sat down to watch The Normal Heart and discovered that former New York Mayor Ed Koch was gay, the pin accurately provided some insight into his single long-term romance. However, it still contains certain factual errors. It claimed, for example, that some Twinkies ingredients were forbidden by the state of California. That is not correct, but a local lawmaker is campaigning against one of the dyes used in the sweets. Even though the pin's responses are mostly correct, I feel compelled to fact-check them. And if that's the case, why not just pick up the phone in the first place? You'll also need to be careful how you communicate with it. Small variations in the way you structure your request can spell the difference between success and complete misunderstanding. And even when the pin understands exactly what you're saying, the outcomes are far from practical. Of course, it did not have to be like this. Launching a new firm in a new industry is always tricky, but Humane made things even more difficult for itself by courting excitement, over-promising, and then releasing the product before it had a minimally viable feature set and a working product. If Humane had done a third-party mock review viability process, the reviewers' opinions should have come as no surprise. This does not constitute an indictment of all 1.0 goods. Companies frequently have to ship something before the product's concept is fully realized in order to get it out the door and generate income. Amazon's Kindle Scribe debuted missing essential note management features. However, it was still a good large-format Kindle for reading, and the Amazon team proceeded to improve the software, making it a far better device today. Apple released the Apple Vision Pro with limited software support, but that is improving on a daily basis. And even on day one, the Apple Vision Pro provided a superior video watching experience with extensive content, as well as roughly 1 million 2D iPad productivity apps. That begs the question, is the issue with Humane's AI Pin that it delivered too soon before it attained MVP, minimum viable product status? Is the problem that the entire AI accessory product category is doomed? The AI Pin has received numerous criticisms related to its current iteration, with suggested solutions ranging from software updates and hardware enhancements to interface tweaks. While not all difficulties must be resolved immediately for a product to succeed, potential improvements can be made through hardware or software modifications. Humane's roadmap foreshadows future remedies for overheating, calendar integration, and third-party API access. But certain issues may demand hardware updates. Also, if the price were lower, the utility bar would be lower. The AI Pin is a rather pricey $700 device that requires a $24 monthly service subscription. If the AI Pin could replace your phone, the price would be insignificant. Instead, for an accessory, it moves it into the realm of well-heeled early adopters. There is also profitability to consider. Humane is a well-funded business, but it is still a startup, not a subsidiary of a company that earns billions of dollars from advertising, software, or hardware. If Humane lowers its prices to increase demand, it will have to make significant cuts, and investors will be disappointed. Humane has a clear plan for making the pin more helpful, including developing functionality to identify items with the camera, manage your diet, and connect to other services you rely on. I'm excited to try them out when they arrive, since when everything works as it should, there's a glimpse of a wonderful product here. If there's one takeaway here, it's that rather than splurging on a new item that promises to solve our issues, we might be better off training ourselves to use the ones we already have more wisely. That's it for today. If you enjoyed the video, please like, share, and subscribe.